Hello and welcome to my week 4 NFL predictions. Sorry I'm going to be a little quiet in this. Also I just wanted to say a couple notes. I'm not extremely knowledgeable on NFL football. I'm more interested in college football. I'm just doing this because this week of football has me particularly interested. As well as the Lions Packers game has already been played, so I don't have a prediction on that, and I guess I'll review it when the week is over. Lions won that 34-20 in a beatdown. But yeah, like a subscribe would help, a comment always helps. Let's get straight into this. So the first game of the week is really early. It's at 6:30 in the morning. Falcons at Jaguars. This one's kind of weird because the Falcons have, beaten teams that we didn't think they were going to beat. I think we thought the Panthers were going to win or they would beat the Panthers. But did we really think the Falcons were going to come back and beat the Packers or just beat the Packers in general? They were down a good 24-12 and they came back and won. But now they just don't look that good after the beatdown by the Lions. But the same can go for the Jaguars. The Jaguars got their butt kicked by the Texans out of nowhere. But the Jaguars also they beat the Colts, which looks pretty good right now. And they lost by 8 points to the Chiefs, which always looks good. So I think the Jaguars just had a bad week last week, and the Falcons are not necessarily that good of a team. I'm not going to say it's going to be a beatdown, but I say the Jaguars will bounce back and win. Yep, just scroll the wrong way. All right, next we got the game of the week, easily. Dolphins at Bills. Honestly, I think the Dolphins are the best team in the league right now. In a close second being the 49ers. But the Dolphins have such a good offense right now, and their defense is all right. The Bills, they lost to the Jets when Aaron Rodgers got knocked out. They still managed to lose. They should have won that. If they would have won that, I'd be a little bit higher on this team, especially since they absolutely killed the Raiders and they absolutely killed the Commanders. So with that being said, I think the Bills will make a statement game in this one, but still turn out to be like 11-6 later on in the season. Whereas the Dolphins will lose this one, but still turn out to be like a 3 or 4 loss team. So give me the Bills in a close game. Just give me the Bills in a very, very close game. Oh boy, this game. This was actually one of my main incentives for making this because I was interested in the week already, but as I was scrolling through the week, I saw Dolphins versus Bills. I was like, "Oh, that's a good game." But then I saw this one. I was like, "That's too funny." These two teams are probably the worst teams in the league battling each other. So this was just kind of funny. I don't even know who to give it to. To be honest, I think I'm going to give it to the Bears because right now, if anything, the Bears want to get rid of Justin Fields, but they're just going to find ways to win games and sell that first pick and just piss Bears fans off even more. That's what I believe is going to happen. To be honest, though, I have no idea which way this game could go. It could go either way. The Bears look awful, but the Broncos just got killed 70-20, so it's like you can't really determine. Ravens at Browns. I don't know how I feel about this Ravens team. They look good after kicking the shit out of the Texans, but then they also struggle with the Bengals, who are just not that good right now. But the Browns, on the other hand, have their struggles as well. They beat up. Who did they play in their first week of football? Oh, they beat the crap out of the Bengals, which we know now isn't that impressive. But then they lose to the Steelers in a game they allowed 2 defensive touchdowns, but then they beat the crap out of the Titans. I think the Browns wins are a lot less impressive than the Ravens wins or the Ravens win in particular because the Ravens kicked the shit out of the Texans. That's the only game that looks all right because the Texans ended up kicking the shit out of the Jaguars. So I'm going to favor the Browns here by a low scoring game. Browns are now without Chubb for the rest of the season, but the Ravens are yet to like impress me. I just don't know what to think about this game, so I'm just going to keep it close going with the home field. Steelers at Texans. This could be awful. I'm going to take the Texans in this one just because I feel like the Steelers like to lose games they're not supposed to lose, but win games they're not supposed to win. Winning a game being like or winning a game you're not supposed to win being against the Browns, but then losing this game against the Texans. Let's be honest, the Steelers' offense is dog shit. Najee Harris is bad. Kenny Pickett, he's been letting me down. And the Texans just kicked the shit out of the Jaguars. That's going to boost this team up a lot for me because that is an impressive win. So I think the Texans will win this one, especially it being at the Texans. I know, Texans fans probably aren't going to be there, but, always helps to have the home field, especially against the Steelers. Vikings at Panthers, 0-3 versus 0-3. I think the Vikings will finally win one. I don't think the Vikings are as bad as 0-3, to be honest. Let's see who the Vikings have played so far. They've played the Bucks. You really shouldn't lose to the Bucks. They lost to the Eagles and then they lost to the Chargers. Those last two are respectable wins, but the Bucks you really shouldn't lose to. The Panthers, on the other hand, have just lost to awful teams. They've lost the Falcons, the Saints. The Seahawks are all right. I wouldn't say they're awful, but they actually led a lot of that Seahawks game. So for them to lose that still looks like shit. I think the Vikings will win here. They could kill the Panthers, but I just think the Vikings need to establish where they're at with these 0-3 teams, because right now they're regarded as one of the worst teams because they're 0-3. But I just don't think they're even close to one of the worst teams. Think they could still finish off a good 9-8, 8-9 if they fix up this season, but definitely obtaining 3 losses in the beginning of the year hurts. They just needed to win that Bucks game. That one was bad. Rams at Colts. I don't know how to feel about this one. I don't know how to feel because I think the Colts are all right. I don't know. The Colts look weird. The Rams look weird. Both very weird teams. Anthony Richardson is returning, though, so give me the Colts. The Rams have one thing that stands out for me, and it's that they played the 49ers really well. They killed the Seahawks, which looked really good, and then they played the 49ers really well. They played them to a 7-point game. I know there was a last-second field goal or something like that. Yeah, they kicked 3 for some reason. I don't know why, but gave us a final score of 30-23. But then they sold against the Bengals, which just quite frankly isn't impressive because Joe Burrow was not playing good. He was 26 for 49, 259 yards and an interception, no touchdowns. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about the Rams. I don't know how to feel about the Colts. Just give me the Colts. Bucks at Saints. Wow, this is a shit show. But give me the Bucks. Jameis Winston being back. I don't know. Wow, I made it really close. I made this last night at 1 in the morning, and I totally recorded a whole ass video, but it was selected to my webcam mic, so I just was like, nope, fuck that. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Went to sleep, so here we are. I disagree with this final score. I think it should be a little bit less on the Saints side, but I still agree with the Bucks. Commanders at Eagles. The Commanders are not a good team. They really lucked out in that win against the Cardinals. No bias. The Eagles should absolutely kick the shit out of them. Sorry, I'm kind of speeding through this. Like I said, I'm not too knowledgeable on the NFL, so these are kind of more just blind predictions. Bengals at Titans. Titans got absolutely killed by the Browns. Bengals also got killed by the Browns. So let's put these teams in a close matchup. But give me the Bengals. The Bengals they'll find a way. They'll find a way to win it. Ryan Tannehill's just terrible. Raiders at Chargers. Chargers should kick the shit out of the Raiders, but it might be a little bit closer than we like because this is conference play. The Raiders have not looked good. It's crazy how we thought this Raiders team, was going to be 12-5 last season or something. And they're just terrible. They took a 1-point win against the Broncos. Then they got slaughtered by the Bills. And then they lost to the Steelers in a game that's much closer than it really was. Steelers were up 23-7. Going into the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, where the Raiders just tried to make a little resurgence, tried to come back, but they didn't. So the Raiders are bad. The Raiders are a pretty bad team. Chargers are a very underrated team. Like I said, I think it'll just be a little bit closer than we like because it's conference play. Oops, I think I skipped a game. Nope. All right, Cardinals at 49ers. All right. We could talk for a little bit on this one because I'm a little bit Cardinals bias. You could say so, but I genuinely believe this besides the bias. If I was an outside fan watching this, like I was a fan of another team, didn't give a shit about the Cardinals, I would still be saying this. The Cardinals actually look pretty good right now. I think we underrated this team a lot. I don't think the Cardinals will win, but I think they'll make it a little bit closer than we like to see. The 49ers have kind of sat in this 30-point range a game. Let's be real. They're one of the best. They're very close to the best team in the league. They've won every single game. They've put up 30 points every single game. I didn't even know that when I made this prediction, so fuck it. We'll stick with the trend. They won 30-7 against the Steelers. They won 30-23 against the Rams, and they won 30-12 against the Giants. I think the Cardinals can cover. I think the Cardinals can they would be the team to bet on. It's a 14-point line for the 49ers. I think the Cardinals will cover that. But the 49ers are definitely not to be overlooked. I think the Cardinals they were extremely underrated going into this year. Our offensive line is amazing. We don't even have Kyler Murray back yet, and Josh Dobbs is actually looking like a all-right quarterback. Let's be honest, the Cowboys were the number 1 team overall until we beat them. Now they're like number 5 or something. So the Cardinals are not to be underestimated in this. And I could be completely wrong about this, but something that I notice when I do watch the NFL, it's that the Cardinals always play a close game against the 49ers early in the season, but then we get our shit kicked in the second game of the season. So I'm going to stick with that in my brain. Could be completely wrong, but I think this one will be close. Patriots at Cowboys. Overrated or underrated at overrated. Underrated at overrated. Give me the Cowboys in a bounce-back game. They definitely need to win after losing to the Cardinals. But the Patriots are so underrated right now, it feels like. I mean, everybody could be in agreement that they're a good team, but I just feel like they're not being talked about enough. They took a 5-point loss to the Eagles, a 7-point loss to the Dolphins, and then they beat the Jets' defense, which, quite frankly, with horrific Mac Jones and bad offense beating them, was actually kind of impressive. Jets just have a horrible offense right now because they lost Aaron Rodgers, but if they had Aaron Rodgers, they'd probably win that game. Jets would probably be one of the best teams in the league. But now they have to play the Cowboys. The Patriots got a pretty good defense. I'm actually very interested in this game. I'm going to give the edge. The line is 6.5 for the Cowboys. That is no way. No way. I could be wrong, of course. There's always a chance of being wrong in predictions, but I just think there's no way. We're getting on to our last games of the week. We got the Chiefs at the Jets. Chiefs are favored by 9. I think they'll cover that handily. The Jets don't have a good offense right now. They've just got a really good defense. As long as Travis Kelce's in the game, the Chiefs are still a pretty solid team. Give me the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs. I feel like that's a very simple prediction, very easy prediction. Seahawks at Giants, the Monday night game. The Giants were supposed to be a good team going into this year, and they've got 2 very embarrassing losses. And honestly, they came back and won that game against the Cardinals, even though they shouldn't have. The Seahawks look like a pretty mid team. I think the Giants will bounce back with a win against the Seahawks. I think they'll bounce back. We all thought this team was going to be all right. Then they get obliterated twice. Now everybody hates them. I think they'll beat the Seahawks. That's just how the NFL rolls, and that is my NFL Week 4 predictions. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe. It always helps. A comment always helps as well. And that's all for me. Adios.